I'm JB Portillo. Welcome to In the Know, a POA-sponsored program to help keep you informed of all projects and events going on in our area. At the beginning of each month, we will post this program on the POA's Facebook site and make it available to the community television station. We hope you enjoy being in the know. Good morning. Welcome to another session of In the Know. Our guest today is our famous Tom Judson, COO. Tom, we've got a lot to talk about today, don't we?
Yeah, we sure do.
We do. Let's start with celebrating success.
Absolutely. So we had a great one this time.
Okay.
With Judy Griffin, and she helped spearhead or work with the volunteers on our first ever Alzheimer's tournament, and they were able to raise $10,000 for a first year event. So it's a very worthy cause, and she really worked very hard, and so we brought her in front of the board of directors and recognized her, and it was a great event.
Absolutely. That's good to hear. Very good to hear. Well, I think we have some other good news about the trails.
Yes. So I was told by the mayor that last night the city approved the trails portion. The POA had approved our portion last month. And I've been told that groundbreaking for the central portion of the community will begin very quickly. So this is going to be a fantastic 45 to 50 miles worth of trails.
I've seen a lot of good yay and a praise for that. So everybody's excited to get the trails on the other side of the road.
Absolutely. And I read a study that there was 101,000 uses of the trails in a 12-month period. Mm-hmm. And then I heard of another study that 60% of all users are Bella Vista residents.
Oh, that's good to hear.
So 60 some odd thousand uses of the trails are Bella Vista residents. So
that's fantastic. Well, we're just full of happy things today.
Absolutely.
I am also very excited about the agreement with the city on the new fire training spot.
It's a new fire training facility. It's actually going to be on POA land. We are leasing it over to the city so that they can build a fire training center, which will then lower our community's ISO rating.
Yes.
Which saves everybody money.
It does.
So it's another great example of the POA and the city working together as a team to make the community better.
Absolutely. You are so right on that. Okay, so Branchwood is about to open. We don't know when yet, but you want to talk
Correct.
To
So Branchwood is right on time for a September opening. We don't have a specific date yet, but we know that it's going to take place in the month of September. So right on time. On the subject of right on time.
Yes.
So today is Tuesday the 28th, and Scottsdale reopened with new greens. And this was ahead of schedule. The original schedule was for us to open up on September 1st.
Yes.
So we're several days early, and we're very pleased with that, to be able to say early on Scottsdale opening and on time for Branchwood.
Absolutely. And those greens, I know very little about golf, but they look really good.
They look really good. I've been walking them every week, and they just, seeing the progression has been fantastic.
Yes. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about the latest decision by the board for assessments.
So the board passed a measure to go forward with a $10 increase for improved properties and a $2 increase for unimproved properties. Now, keep in mind, and this is one piece of information so many people aren't aware of, it's been since 2001, the last increase. So it's been a long time. And if you take from 2001 to now, and you take the cost of living adjustments for Social Security, and you take that $24, and you multiply it by the increases, it turns out to be $33.91, and we're asking for $34.
Right.
And there's going to be a cost of living increase towards the end of this year, so it'll probably put it from the $33.91 to be over. So we feel that this is a reasonable amount. At this point, our plans are to launch the vote on October 1 and to conclude the vote on November 8th.
Okay, let's make sure that everybody's very clear. The board did not decide that there was going to be an assessment. They simply decided...
Great point. Great. We have to go to the community, and they have to vote in favor of it.
Right.
You have to have at least 50% participation, and 51% of the community must vote in favor of it.
Okay.
So October 1, the ballot should go out, or near to that. November 8th should be the conclusion. We'll start getting information out. Also, what we've done is I'm going to hold a number of community meetings, informational meetings. We already have 3 of those set up. They are on September 11th at 10 a.m. at the Country Club, September 12th at 2 p.m. at Highlands, and September 13th at 5 p.m. at Midfield. So we're trying to cover all angles of the community to make it easier. And I'm also going out, and if anybody would like me to come out to their neighborhood, they want to bring a group of 10 or 20 neighbors together, get a hold of me, I'll come out. I've gone out and given speeches in living rooms, and at churches, at clubs, and so I'm willing to come out and give you information, and you can ask me any question you want, and I'll give you a direct, honest answer.
Yes, and that is so important, and that's awesome that you're doing that. I just want to make sure that people understand too, you can always go to the POA website for any information you need. You can always call Tom. I call you a lot, and find out to make sure I understand.
I'm going to have to block your number one of these days.
Probably, but I like to deal with facts.
Absolutely. You know, if you decide to vote in favor or against the assessment increase, I totally respect that.
Yes.
But make the decision based upon facts, not based upon rumors.
Exactly.
So maybe I'll give you the intro on our latest rumor.
No kidding. Here we go. All right, so what's the latest rumor?
Well, every time there's a vote, the signs start cropping up, POA go away. So let's talk about that. All right, so if you read the governing documents, that's what's in charge, is the governing documents, you have to take a vote of the membership.
Right.
So now what's interesting is there's really nothing in the declaration, the governing documents, the declaration, that talks about the dissolving of the POA. So it's but let's ignore that point. If you get, you first have to get participation from 39,000 property owners. Now, what's interesting is we were recently reading this provision, and we originally thought it said members in good standing, which would lower it down to about, 36,000. It doesn't say that for this provision. It says all. And so to get a modification to the governing documents, to the declaration, you have to have 66%. So 39,000, you have to have 26,000. Now, that's not a quorum. All 26,000 have to vote in one direction. All vote in one direction to POA go away. Well, let's put it in perspective. The last assessment vote, we had the highest participation ever, and we had 19,000 votes cast. So we'd have to get up to 26,000. So unfortunately, it's just not a reasonable. It's not a reasonable effort. I think maybe when they wrote it, I don't know, maybe they were thinking of a community that was not as large as we are now. Who knows? I mean, the documents were written 50 years ago, so you can't fault them for how they wrote it 50 years ago.
That's right. Well, I can't even imagine how the city, if the POA went away, talk about that a little bit. The city couldn't afford.
Well, and that's a very good point. And I really haven't gone down this path too far because it's just not possible.
Right.
But would the city be able to? You're running for city council. Would the city be able to afford to take on everything?
Absolutely not.
Exactly.
A lot of folks have said something about, well, the POA needs to be a recreational department reporting to the city. I don't even see how that might work. I
don't see it. We have a different community, and different isn't bad. It's is just different. And from the description of what we're doing with the fire training center, you can see that we're working hand in hand with the city. If you look at the agreement regarding the trails, we're working hand in hand with the city. So while we're two separate entities, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're dysfunctional. We're working, I speak with the mayor daily.
Yes.
I have city council members come in and ask me questions, and I give them the time and answer their questions. So we're different, but not different bad. We're just different.
It's kind of almost a check and balance. So I'm curious, and I'm sure a lot of people are, what will that increase cover? How will that help the POA?
Great question. So first of all, what we would like to initially do is construct a new community center. Unfortunately, Reardon Hall has seen better days, and the new community center would have so much to offer for all of our residents. In designing it, we wanted to make sure that we accommodated the needs of our younger generation, our middle, and our older generation. So, for example, there's a walking trail inside the community, the design for the new community center, and that's great for jogging, for walking, for so forth. For the pool, we have a lazy river where the kids can float around, but also an older generation get in there and can go opposite direction and do water walking for their fitness. So everything that we've looked at, we've made sure that we can have a yoga room, but also have card playing in there and mahjong and all those other things. So we wanted a multifunctional space, have a coffee shop there so you can have a nice congregation of people sitting around. So that's the first thing, is the community center.
Okay.
The next one is the conversion of Berksdale South into a park. And right now, the tentative plans are to create an amphitheater, nice flat walking trails. We have a lot of trails in our community, but not a lot of them are flat.
Right.
But we could have 1 and 2 and 3 mile loops where you have nice flat loops, and it goes by the water maybe, because you have the little Sugar Creek going through there. So it could be a fantastic setting. People could go in and use the water and so forth. The next one is the country club renovation. This is the golf course, and we have to make sure that the golf course is, we've been using the word hardened. This is probably not the best term, but hardened against future floods. And the board recently approved the selection of an architect, and we're moving forward with a master plan to develop to protect that golf course against future floods.
And that's a plan.
That's a plan.
Just a
the
plan.
whole thing has not been approved.
Right.
It's just a plan. Great point. Pickleball courts. We definitely need more pickleball courts. The beach has been such a huge success.
It has. I hear so many good things about it.
But we need more picnic tables. We need more shade areas. We need to expand. We would love to put in a splash park. We think the kids on the east side would love a splash park. We need an east side dog park, because a lot of those people are either having to drive to Slaughter Pen or I'll drive all the way over to the Loch Lomond Park. The tennis courts, we recently did 2 of our courts, but the other courts need to be done also. And we'd also like to put in an indoor tennis facility also. We need more playground equipment. I mean, we have thousands and thousands of little kids, and we recently did the playground equipment at Branchwood. We put in stuff at the beach at Lake Avalon and at Metfield, but we need 4 other locations that need parks, playground equipments. Kayak launch sites, because these are these launch sites that make it easier to get in and out of a kayak, which would be fantastic. So a lot of different things that we're working on that would come to reality only with an increase.
So I want to ask you a hard question. What happens if we don't get the increase?
Great question. Over the last several years, we've spent down our reserves. We still have an emergency reserve, that money's to the side, but our reserves are by and large gone. And so we can survive, but we're going to plod along. And what my concern is over time, without an increase, our facilities will start to deteriorate. And I don't want that to happen.
No.
We've accomplished so much over the last few years with Lake Point and Branchwood and the Country Club, which is fantastic. But we don't want to go backwards. People are recognizing it when people are coming in to look at houses and so forth. The real estate agents are telling me that they're thrilled showing our community and all the things that we've done.
Yes.
Then they take them to Reardon Hall and they're not as thrilled.
Well, that's okay, because progress is something that we're all working toward.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Audience, I would like to encourage you to remember to go to the POA website for information. Also, Tom is always available for you to talk to. So ask. Factual information is the best way to make decisions.
Absolutely.
The other thing I would like to encourage you to do is there is information out there on the difference or the responsibilities of what the POA does, what the city does, and what the third leg of the stool, the ACC, does. It's important to read that because it will solve a lot of the questions you might have. So thank you for joining us again. And Tom, thank you always for being my guest.
Thank you.
See you next time.